Oh, good morning for another edition of the wee Wednesday Blether. I'm sorry there if you can see straight up my nose. I've just given it a good clean for your benefit, but I had a very young lady perhaps suggest that holding my phone in front of me was not the wisest of all things to do. We are just outside of Benton in Montana, or Denton as it might have been, and we are heading to Lewistown. We've had quite an eventful time since the 4th of July, our wonderful stay in Missoula. We cycled, oh danged if I know where to now, Avando. Great little town. It had a sandwich board out the front telling cyclists all the things that they could do or sleep. We could even sleep in the local jail, but it was full of French people, so we ended up sleeping in a little shelter beside the baseball pitch in the diamond in the town park. And we pitched in the shelter because we were worried about storms. And 12:30 in the night, or in the morning if you prefer, all of a sudden the ground started shaking violently and the shelter started creaking wildly, and Sharon said, "That's an earthquake." And I said, no, it's a storm. And we looked out the door of the tent, and the sprinkler system in the park had started, and I thought, no, it's just the sprinklers hitting the roof. As you do, Sharon got up and did what you do in the middle of the night. And while I'm lying in bed, all of a sudden the roof started creaking again, and the ground started shaking again. What we'd experienced was a 5.8 on the Richter scale earthquake during the night. There were 4 aftershocks. So we got up in the morning and we rode to some forestry park, and we had been riding through a heat wave. When I looked at my odometer for the barometer on my bicycle, it was 120 degrees as we pulled into the campground that night. In comparison, it's 8:30 in the morning. We've done 4.5 miles on the bicycle and it is 80 degrees. But it should get up to the 90s today. But the 90s is nothing in comparison to the hundreds. We were at that park, that forestry campground, and I'm lying on the ground at the end of a not too hard a day, and I'm just lying on the grass, and all of a sudden I heard like a freight train just roaring, rushing up to us, and I thought, this is an earthquake. And lo and behold, the freight train stopped for a second or two, and then all of a sudden the ground started shaking violently again. Sharon was up and running. I was ready to try and get some sleep again. So yeah, we had an earthquake. The Rocky Mountains, as I said before, was a bit of an anticlimax. After doing the Cascades and the Bitterroots, the Rocky Mountains almost had like maybe an hour at the most of cycling in our granny gear. So comparatively speaking, it was a pushover, and we were all elated and excited and happy when we were on top of the Rockies. What we didn't realize was that coming down the Rockies was actually going to be harder than going up, because there's a little hill in front, because on the way down there were 2 really steep, sharp climbs, and it would have been hitting about 100 degrees when we're on those climbs, and we just got so stinking hot. And I stopped at this corner, and there were a couple of trailers, people living in the caravan kind of thing, if you don't understand what a trailer is, and I asked if we could sit underneath their tree, of which we did, and they had a dog called Roxy, and we're trying to rest and find some peace, and all we can hear is, "Roxy, get the F back here, F and return here, Roxy." However, we sweated it out for a couple of hours there before we carried on to our destination, and the destination was Augusta. Lovely wee place. We turned up and we're going down the main street and just actually looking for cold root beer, because cold root beer has become our friend, and that's my granny gear engaged, and they were having a party. It was 5 years since the bar opened, and for a donation it was barbecue, pulled pork, all you could eat. And I thought, my goodness, these people have never seen cyclists come to town. And so we bought 2 root beers each and gorged ourselves on, well, at least I did, on plate after plate of food. We stayed in the campground, not in the campground, in the rodeo that night. And then rode through to Fort Benton. Beautiful wee place. Yeah, stayed right on the Missouri River, watched the deer playing in the Missouri. We've missed something here. Okay, well, we missed our stay. I got out of order. We missed out Great Falls. There was a vineyard church in Great Falls, and we were really keen to get to Great Falls, and it was a stinking hot day, and we were tired and grumpy, and we kind of beelined, because we had contacted the vineyard there and asked if anybody would like to host us, and we've only, 99% of the time had fantastic hosts, but as far as looking after tour cyclists, I think this couple and their 2 daughters were the pinnacle, right down to being fed numerous cups of ice cold water as soon as we walked in the door. And though I didn't notice it initially, they had the you can come past, car. They had the air conditioning set on. Had the air conditioning set on, practically frozen, but we didn't notice it until our body temperature got down. Evie and Nora, it was great meeting you. Thanks for the lovely gift. Sitting right here on my bar bag at the moment. It'll probably get back to New Zealand. And just for your thank you for your concern, and I'm not holding on to my phone as I'm doing this little broadcast. Yesterday we cycled from after Great Falls we stopped at Highwood, and again we were trying to shelter from the heat because we didn't leave Great Falls until 1 o'clock, which meant we had 50 miles to do in the afternoon sun. But a lot of you were praying, and well, we had cloud cover for most of the day, but we stopped to shelter in Highwood, lovely wee town, and we stopped in a bar because often these are the only thing that's open, and we bought a hamburger. We don't eat out that often because it gets expensive quickly, but we bought a hamburger, and the barman came over and said, "How was the hamburger?" And I said, "The beef was particularly good." And he said, "Don't say that too loud, because that guy right there who was right beside me, it's his cows and he'll get a big head." And it just struck us as a little bit funny how in Western Oregon everything is like, know the source of your food, know where it comes from, and here we are in this little rancher town, and the beef I'm eating came from the cow that belonged to the person right next door to me. It was funny, it was fantastic. Yesterday was also a bit of a doozy day for us. Again, we were praying that the heat would break, and it did. It broke in the form of providing us with the strongest winds that I've experienced, perhaps outside of New Zealand, or maybe ever experienced. An electrical storm, not right on top of us, fortunately, and lots of rain, lots of wind, but just for about five minutes. I did a video of it, but by that time it was all gone. In the middle of that storm, there was 7 combine harvesters on the back of trucks go past us, and they probably had about 8-9 support vehicles with them. So yeah, last night we were in Denton. We've got caught out because the grocery store closed after we arrived and opens in 20 minutes time, and we didn't want to wait for that. I also just want to categorically state we love Montana. So far Montana has the most cycle-friendly drivers by far. The people are friendly. They're often quite slow speaking and don't say much, but they're friendly. And particularly this side of Great Falls, most of the towns are like going ahead, and it's lovely to see. Today's a wee bit of a hilly day, but it's nothing in comparison to what we've been doing. Oh, 2 new water bottles, both of them insulated. So I think that's all for today. We've only got another 33 miles to do today to the town where we're staying in. We have a warm showers host. But 33 miles to the town, and usually in these big towns it takes us about 10 miles to get through. That's all. I don't know if there's anything else right now, so hope you're enjoying these. Yeah, cheerio, bye bye.